Welcome to No Options with Ty Gipson, the show where life's toughest trials become the foundation for your greatest triumphs. Real stories, raw conversations, and the unwavering belief that you were built to overcome. Now, here's your host, Ty Gipson.
So you've been with BSN now for how many years?
Well, Terry asked me, Trippy, can you give me 2 good years? I said, hell, Terry, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to give you 2 great years. And I had called on Terry that worked at DJ Sporting Goods in Carrollton, and he was the team guy behind the counter. So that's where I crossed paths with him, way back. In fact, we just had lunch with Don Hall, who was a proud owner that Terry worked for. He's 76, Ty, and he's still in the sporting goods business in Plano, Texas today.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And he played golf at SMU. But the BSN thing, I kind of tiptoed through it because it was unique. I'm not like this. I said, Terry, if I'm going to take this position, I know you don't know me. You know, I used to call on you, but I don't want to write orders. I don't want to price orders, and I don't want to enter orders because I've done that for 40 plus years. And if you're okay with that, I'm in.
And
so
they let you do that, and that's what's been the success.
And let me say this, so with the relationships, that word, I wish I had $1,000 bill for every time I've heard it in my journey. They were acquiring companies, and so I went and visited with a couple of them. And if you don't know Terry Babilla, you need to get to know him. Mm-hmm. He has a heart. He's got 4,000 employees. And I sat at lunch with him a couple of times when we were doing these acquisitions because this particular customer just wanted to deal with him. And it worked out that we were able to bring them in. There's a reason that companies get to where they are. And like I said 30 minutes ago, there's a difference between good and great. They have great management, Ty.
I agree.
It's solid from Adam all the way down from that standpoint.
I agree, but I want to keep talking because you're discounting yourself a lot. They have a good management team, but Trippy, you're and I hope people understand what I'm trying to say is it's never about Trippy. It's about Trippy helping other people. And you supported these managers. You make these managers look really good a lot of times. And so I personally just want to say, thank you for what you do. And I'm sure there's a slew of guys out there that would say the same thing. Thank you for what you do. Because you have a heart for people. And when we take care of people, people take care of you. And that's what happens. And I truly believe that's a motto that you've carried on for years. And you not only you talk about it, but you do it. And that's a lot of difference, right? There's a lot of people that talk about what we should do. And then there's people that do it. And you're one of those that do it, and I appreciate that.
I've always tried to be a doer.
That's right.
I mean, from the time that my arm, I woke up, I could have quit sports right then and there. But I want to go back. The Mississippi State thing, let's touch back on that just a second, okay?
Because I want to bring something back up there. I don't know if that's where you're going, but I want to
go.
Well, because this is what's really cool, guys. I've known Trippy for now, I don't know, 10 years probably. And I did not know that he talked about at Mississippi State. You talked about not going back and getting those 9 hours. Let's go back to that for a minute. A couple of years back, 3 or 4 years ago, you called me. I call you actually. You're on the road, and I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm headed to Mississippi State." He said, "I'm going to graduate." I said, well, "Hold on a second. What are you talking about?" You got the opportunity to go finish your 9 hours. And you went back online, and then you got to go back down and to Mississippi State just the last several years and get your degree. Now, the coolest picture I've ever seen though was you standing up during the graduation, and all these young kids, and then there's Trippy, and it brought tears to my eyes, man. It was just awesome to see somebody not giving up. Right? It's never too late, and that was a good. Talk about that for a moment, real quick.
so I always had it in the back of my mind. And then you see these commercials on TV and school named Phoenix, and you can go get a degree, you know. And so I'm sitting there, and so it's March, yeah, 1st of April. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna give the admissions a call at Mississippi State. And I called admissions, and the lady says, well, what? I said, ma'am, I don't know if you, I told her my name, and she said, well, what's your ID number? I said, ma'am, I said, I don't know. I said, I've been gone since May the 5th, 1978 at 2 o'clock. I said, I had a sack full of, I had some pocket change of money and no windshield in the back of my car. And I said, I'm driving to Montgomery. I said, I don't know. So she said, well, we're gonna have to go to the archives and find your transcript. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I'll call you back in a couple of days. Well, she called back. And she said, Mr. Saxton, she said, you like 9 hours? I said, yes, ma'am, I told you that on Tuesday. This is Thursday, Ty. And she says, well, I'm gonna transfer you over to this lady in the online department. And that saying that I said happened to be at the right place at the right time, well, it struck again. I got the right lady on the phone. My daughter's name is Kaylee. I got Kaylee Dunlop on the phone. And we talked, and I told her a little bit about the journey that I'd had when I was at Starkville and stuff. And she says, well, we're gonna have to interview you. And she mentioned a guy's name, like I was supposed to know this doctor.
Yeah.
She said, I answered to him, he's an Australian. She said, Trippy, he likes tennis. I said, well, that's good. I said, I do Zoom calls all day long. And I said, you know what, Miss Dunlop? I said, what do you have on your schedule tomorrow? She said, well, I've got 3 o'clock open. I said, I live in Dallas, so I'm on my way. So I'm at her office at 2:30, sitting down, waiting on her. She comes walking in. At 5 o'clock, I finally, 5:15, get through visiting with her. She calls me the following Tuesday, and she said, this is what we're gonna do. I was scared that they were gonna take my 9 hours and make them look like 18 or 24, which I'm not saying I wouldn't have attempted it. I might have gone somewhere else, you know.
Right.
And she said, you're gonna have to take these 9 hours. I'm gonna email them to you. You gotta finish them by June the 1st, okay? That's on a Friday, okay? Mississippi State is playing LSU in baseball that night, so I'm gonna get to go to the baseball game. And so she, you know, so I go to the game, she calls me on that Tuesday, I get on it. And so I turn everything in. And this professor was kind of giving me a little tough time. I said, you know, that's okay, sir. I said, I'm gonna finish this, whatever I need to do. If I've gotta come and live in Starkville, I'm gonna get this 9 hours. That's what we gotta do. So she calls me Father's Day weekend on Friday. She said, Trippy, she called me Mr. Trippy. She said, my first call wasn't a good call. She said, I wanted to end your weekend on a great call. She said, you graduated. She said, would you come walk the stage? I said, I don't know about that. I said, let me think about it. So I'm excited, you know, I'm gonna get a degree that I set out to go get in 1974, 75, you know, so I walked the stage. I was older than the president of the university that day, you know, but
I love it.
It's never too late.
That's right.
And something that my mother taught me, and the reason I'll go back here, my mother went to Duke. My mother transferred to Alabama because my dad played football back in the early 40s for Mississippi State, had an undefeated season. He played on the only Orange Bowl team until Dak Prescott took Mississippi State there, okay?
Oh, wow.
So with her transferring her hours and everything, and she wanted to become a school teacher, and she went through the MSU department, they made her take, and this lady was a smart woman, trust me. She had to go take 24 hours. So I was excited that I only had to take 9, but one thing that my mother taught me is always get up and try.
Yeah, every day. That's a simple simplest, way to put it, right?
No
Get
matter
up.
how hard it is, just try.
Right.
Don't ever give up.
That's
I
awesome.
think that's something that's stuck with me from that standpoint.
Well, I think that says, that kind of tells you, right? You never gave up. You approach every day with a positive. If you ever around Trippy, you feel positivity, and that's what I always say. Find a Trippy in your life, because I'm saying being around positive people makes a difference. But here's the thing that you need to ask yourself: why can't you be the positive person, right? If you're not that person, try to be more positive every day, because it helps the people around you. And Trippy, as you have talked about this before, you don't ever know what people are dealing with, right? You don't know if the lady at the front counter is dealing with something. So always treat them respectful, treat people kindly, and it's amazing what happens. But that story is amazing to me. Then, real quick, and I'm going to talk about this real quick. It was really cool, and this is credit to Terry Babilla and the BSN company, is at our national sales meeting a couple years ago. To Trippy knew nothing about this, but they call him up on the stage, and they had purchased Trippy a Mississippi State class ring, and in front of, I don't know how many people were at Trippy. There were a lot, a couple thousand people.
Yeah, I was a little nervous.
A couple of thousand people. Terry presented Trippy with a class ring.
I still wear that ring today.
So you got it on today.
Yeah,
I love
I got it on today.
I love it.
And
Hold it up.
That just showed that man has a heart.
Yeah. Show them your ring. Put your ring right up so you can see it. There it is,
So
right there.
I walked the stage in 22, and that was my football number, by the way, also in high school.
Oh, that's fun.
And so I'm proud of the ring that BSN rewarded me with. And on top of that, there's a little story behind it, is that we owned Herff Jones at that time. You remember?
Yeah.
And so Mississippi State did not deal with Herff Jones, so Terry had to buy it from Balfour.
Had to buy it from the competitor.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. Well, and so again, there's so many lessons in the way you've lived your life, and honestly, there's multiple stories, and we'll come back and talk some more on some other things. But I think on this, what I wanted to kind of start to close up with is you have shown a lot of people in the sporting good industry how to approach life, but you haven't had the perfect, easy, silver spoon type life, and I hope whatever your people are dealing with out there, think about Trippy and some of the things that he went over. Never too late, trying to treat people with kindness, trying to be respectful, thinking about that second sale, which you talked about, right? You never know. Things like that, I think, that make the little things make a big difference. Now, there's a final question, though, that I want you to answer, if you will. Where did you get the name Trippy? Because I know a lot of people probably want to know that.
So, my dad was he played football. Okay, he left football to go to the World War. Okay, so he's a patriot. Trust me, I grew up in that house. We flew a flag at our house before flags were popular. You get the point.
Yeah.
So he was also involved in student government. Okay. He worked for the government. During the pregnancy, my mom traveled with my dad from Cleveland, Mississippi, okay, all around the state. And so when their neighbor delivered me, said, Rosemary, you need to name Trippy, this baby Trippy. It's been on so many trips with you. So my real name is Curtis E. Saxton Jr. And there's another, so being in a little small town that I grew up in, Meridian, in the first grade, Miss White, the first grade teacher, is calling roll, and you were supposed to stand up and say something about yourself. So two Trippies stood up in the little town of Meridian, Mississippi. He was the third herald, is what it is.
Oh,
so, Ty, it's life is a fun trip. It's a great trip, and there's a difference between good and great, and the industry that we get to work in. I mean, where we are today is just phenomenal. I mean, you look out at other states. I mean, we live in a fantastic, incredible state here in the state of Texas, and I've definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed my childhood growing up in Mississippi, and we can continue this. I have gone back there for many years for a reason, and I'd share that story with you another time.
Yeah, and I do. We're gonna have a Trippy on another episode, because there's some stories of your childhood that I think would resonate with our group. But I wanna, in closing again, I wanna say, guys, if we can really think about whatever it is that we're going through and how we approach it is everything. The way Trippy approached his life and the way where he was raised and overcoming some of the financial income, financial things and just the era that he was living in and then things happen, right? I mean, the tennis opportunity came up. You were able to play tennis. And then I want to say one thing, and I want to congratulate you on this, and we're going to get into this story later, but I want to congratulate Trippy. Being a tennis star that he was, and he played all those years, real quick, in closing, I know we're trying to wrap this up, and we got a time, but real quick, tell them what you just in the last couple of years have taken on and has, absolutely excelled in, and that's pickleball. Talk about your pickleball, real quick, because I don't have time.
We talked about my best friend I grew up with since I'm 6 years old. His dad was a little Jewish man that had a passion for tennis. They were country club people. I wasn't. If I ate one meal at their house, I ate 1,000 meals at their house. Still friends with him today. He taught me how to play tennis. My best friend is a good athlete, petite type gentleman, probably the most honest person that you could ever meet. He started playing pickleball, and he'd been talking to me about playing pickleball. Well, I'd been playing tennis and got back into it, and Head had just sent me 3 new rackets. And so I told y'all earlier I walk a lot, and I'm walking by where I live, and there's a stadium court. It's a single court, and that's where I look over there, there's 20-something people. I said, what, did I miss a tournament or something here? And I walk over there, and these guys are playing pickleball. Well, my friend played pickleball. So I introduced myself, and I said, I went and got me a pickleball paddle, $80 at Academy, and came back on a Saturday and started playing. And, it took me a while to learn the game, still learning it today. I practiced for 2 years. I called Ken Hall and said, I'm ready. He thought I was ready to retire. And so I said, no, I'm ready to play a pickleball tournament with you. So he had played several, and he was one of the better pickleball players, probably the best pickleball player now in our age group and even under in Mississippi. He got Sportsman of the Year in Mississippi too. So I said, there's a tournament, national tournament here at Brookhaven Club. I said, they're gonna have all the pros, and there's 3,000 people that have registered. Get on the plane, let's play. So we registered, and in our age group, and it was my first tournament. We won the national championship.
So did you hear that?
In my first tournament.
He won the national championship. What year was that?
It took me 2 years to train. I trained for 2 years before I would do that.
And then y'all, so that was what year was that?
That was last year.
Last year. So national champion from last year. And then just recently you went back.
That's right.
And he went back to go try to get to get the national championship, and you just missed it.
Yep.
But tell them why. You thought because you played that singles the day before, right?
Right.
And then the doubles day, you just didn't have the gas. But I will tell you guys, this is the 2024 national champion. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's awesome. I mean, that's pretty cool. At your age, to be able to just still have the, age is just a number, right? I mean, as long as we can keep going in our minds, keep going, do good things for people, and man, what a life you've lived. And I am just grateful to call you a friend, Trippy, and we're going to have another episode with Trippy, guys, because there's a lot more to talk about in what he's offered, and just listen to the way he really does so many good things for so many people. So Trippy, thank you.
No,
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Is there in two words? I know that's a joke, but real quick, what's something that you would leave our audience and just as a positive note?
I'm gonna go back and answer it this way, Ty, is that Positive attitudes create positive results. Keep trying.
That's right. I love that.
Yeah. And
I love that. Thank you, Trippy. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to No Options. If this episode spoke to you, please take a moment and leave a review. And more importantly, please share it with someone who may need to hear it. You can find more stories, resources, and ways to connect over at my website, tygipson.com. And that is Gipson with a P, TYGIPSON.com. Remember, no matter where you are, your story isn't over yet if you live like you have no options. I'll see you next time. You know Ty Gipson is an entrepreneur, a relentless survivor. Did you know he's also a powerhouse speaker? After overcoming 3 transplants of juvenile diabetes, he built thriving businesses with one mantra: no options. Ty transforms adversity into action. His keynotes ignite audiences with real-world resilience and 30-plus years of sales mastery. Are you ready to inspire your team? Book Ty Gipson today as your next speaker. You can call 512-944-4780 or head over to tygipson.com. That's Gipson with a P. It's time for your event to share the motivation that is no options.